Hi, everyone. I'm Lauren Walker, the manager of athlete development here at USA Volleyball. And today I'm privileged to be joined by Kupono Fey. And Kupono has a lot to share with us today about wisdom of coming up through the NTDP high performance pipeline, what it means to kind of reach each new level of international and collegiate play. So, Kupono, thank you for joining us. And I guess to get us started out here, you had the experience of being an athlete who came through the high performance kind of program with USA Volleyball. You went into collegiate play and into international play. So tell us a little bit about what that experience was like for you as you kept moving to higher levels of play. What were some key aspects for you to find success?
Yeah, well, first of all, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. It's an honor to be here. I think we are just talking about my first high performance camp was here, an A2 camp with Kevin Moore and Armin Zakarian and going through that. So having that experience at like 14, 15 years old was really cool. Making those lifelong friends that I still talk to that are still coaching in club, and I see them at tournaments and AU. So it's a really cool just bonding experience going through the pipeline and having those lifelong friends really. And it's a really good experience coming through these camps because, especially being from a small island, obviously in Honolulu, you get to meet players from all over the country, some of the top players from all over the country, and being able to play with them and kind of see where you stack up as well. What areas you need to work on, what areas you're doing good, what skills you're learning that you want to take back to club. I think that's all super important in building your your toolbox to become a player. Yeah.
What were some really tangible things that you picked up kind of in those early camps that you took home with you that were the areas you worked on to take you to the next level, to either the national team or the collegiate level?
Yeah. For me personally, I knew my strength was passing. I was an outside hitter, and passing just came a little more naturally to me. And that was kind of a strength, and that got me on the floor a lot. It helped me make youth teams, junior teams, make college rosters, start on that, and just keep moving up. It helped me be one of the best passers in Italy, and just keep working on that, and then taking that home, and then trying to learn different skills, different abilities. We talked about being like adaptable. A lot of times we're just going through the program, learning new skills from different coaches, from different backgrounds, who have different strengths, and even going overseas, taking a little something from the Italian play, the Polish play. A lot of times we just learn American style of volleyball. How can I take that and how can I use that and bring that to my toolbox? And that's really interesting. And then work on that at home and use that in the play, which is super valuable because sometimes we just get so caught up into this is the system where we need to think outside the box. And there's so many different styles of volleyball that we can play that can help everyone's game.
Yeah, I love that. Two things really jumped out to me, right? Working on skills to be a utility player, to have a broad breadth of skill on the court, but then also the comment that you made about learning from international styles of play. So as you played internationally, both professionally and during kind of those initial national team travel travel opportunities, what did you learn, or how did you kind of attend to what was going on internationally to learn from that style of play that was outside of the US?
Yeah, it's definitely hard. I mean, back then there wasn't a lot of film. Now these kids have the internet. YouTube is so big. So if you haven't started watching film, it's super important to just see the international game and how it's evolving. Because it's much different. It's much different than college. And college is much different than high school. And then just being adaptable. I think you had a good question about um what helped me through the pipeline. And especially just the hard part is getting noticed and getting invited to these NTDPs, these high performance camps, making uh, these training rosters. But then once you're in it, you usually have like a week of training, double days with all these new guys that you've never played with before. And it's so easy to it's so easy to play and have a good connection with your setter that you've played with your whole life, or pass next to these passers you pass since you were little kids. It's actually a skill to be able to play well with all these other different players, especially when you only have a week. It's double days, and it could be the reason you make the team or not. So having that connection, getting it fast, and just trying to win drills, and just kind of having that mental endurance to be able to last the whole training block and then keep going, and just keep winning drills. That's the hardest part, especially with a bunch of new players and you just get kind of rotated. Yeah.
Yeah. I absolutely love what you just said, kind of in that focus on relationships.
Mhm.
So, what were some tangible things you did to build relationships quickly with some of the guys you were training in these training blocks with to really establish that rapport on the court?
Yeah, I think it's a great experience. I mean, just being here, especially we're gonna have like U15, U16s, and they've never had that age group before. But being in this training center, they're staying in the dorms, they're hanging out, they're eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You're getting to know them. You're playing games in between practices. It's a really cool experience. Like I said, lifelong friends. And just keep building that repertoire, staying after practice, going a little early, getting a little connection. I mean, it's a real good taste for them to experience this, especially maybe for some of them going into college, that it's on you to have the success. You can't just do, what coach says or what practices from here to there, weights is from here to there. And if you really want to be successful, you have to do the extra. You have to go in and compete, because the difference between high school and college is really the physicality. We have the top players in high school that aren't ready to play in college because they're not physical yet. They're going to have to hit the weight room a little harder. They're going to have to go in and do extra. They're going to have to stay and get extra reps. They have to serve more balls than just in practice if they want to be a good collegiate player and take it on themselves and take ownership kind of for their play style.
Yeah. Now, I love that you were talking about, your advice for these athletes would be fully present in these training opportunities when to get them, build those relationships, keep learning, and take those opportunities to take that initiative. So I would imagine, as you described this, that a lot of that was embodied in you as you successfully kind of moved to each different level of competition. So what else was a factor for you as you kind of mentally and physically prepared yourself for each of these movements and competitive level?
How to mentally prepare? I mean, it's difficult. They do a really good job. I mean, listening to all the coaches, they all have different um, strengths that they bring and they give you, and just listening, asking a ton of questions, taking advantage of this opportunity because you have such great coaches in such one area, and just ask a ton of questions. I mean, Sam was just here. He has a great background in sports psychology and just visualization. He really helped me on the youth and junior teams, visualizing before the match, even during the play, before a serve, where they're going to serve. And all the coaches have really helped me, and just asking questions and learning, because they have so much knowledge. So coming here and just kind of seeing how it goes is a great experience. But really, if you want to take advantage of it, ask questions, grow as a player, make friends. It's really important. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that initiative piece. Sometimes that's difficult when we're younger. You're bold enough to do that.
Get out of your comfort shell.
Yeah.
Comfort zone. Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
So as you think about the questions that you asked your coaches throughout this process, was that stemming from you taking some time to be reflective or journaling through your process? Or how did you kind of decide what questions you needed to ask the coaches to think about moving to that next level of play?
Yeah, it's just different. I mean, some people journal, some people have a reflection. That's very good, very smart. I wasn't like that. And I don't know if I want to be rebellious, but just not questioning, but curious.
Mm-hmm.
I've learned how to pass like this, and you're teaching me something different. And that's something that I've taken in when I do camps and when I coach college, when I coach club. That's the first thing I say to start practice or to start a big camp is be curious, ask questions. Like we talked about, there's a number of different ways to play volleyball. So be open-minded. Try this, try that. If it works for you, great. If it doesn't, that's okay. Because everyone, it's situational. Every player is different. So what works for me may not work for you, but you got to be open-minded and try it. So that's kind of being curious and asking questions. Like, my coach taught me how to pass like this. My coach taught me to approach like this. And now you're teaching me something different. I'm going to try it, and then I'm going to ask questions. What's going to work best for me in the long run?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just
absolutely.
be curious.
That is a perfect sentiment. Sam just mentioned be curious but not judgmental when it came to different styles of international play, different skills execution, and I think you summed up the same sentiment right there.
Yeah, that's a perfect quote. Walt Whitman. What was that?
That was just from Sam.
Yeah.
Sam was in here, and I'm not sure. Was Walt
from Ted Lasso too.
Oh, there we go.
Great show. Shout out Ted Lasso.
So as we think about any other recommendations you might have for athletes who are kind of entering the pipeline or maybe looking to level up into that next level of performance, whether that's actually playing for a national team, that's playing collegiately, anything else that you would recommend for players as they think about the next level of competition?
Yeah, I think we talked about the jump from high school to college. I think in this training block too, um, having that mental like fortitude, having that endurance. You see so many talented players come through here and just cannot last through the whole training block. They get tired, and it's really the ones. It's not always the ones that are the most physical or that hit the ball the hardest or whatever, but it's the ones that are the most competitive, that win every drill, that are battling in the morning and in afternoon practices, that are getting better, and you see them getting better throughout the whole training block compared to the people that just come in and think, maybe they're a little overconfident. They think they're going to make the team no matter what. And those guys kind of fall off a little bit. They get a little reality check. So being able to compete day in and day out and being able to adapt and play with different setters. You're going to have 30 guys. You're going to have 5 different setters you're going to need to have connection with. And just being able to adapt to those situations is really an important skill to have.
Yeah. I'll ask you one more quick question based off of what you said there.
Yeah.
So let's say I'm in the middle of the training block. I come in, I'm dedicated myself to mentally being there and having fortitude, but I'm starting to feel exhausted. I'm starting to feel a little checked out.
Mm-hmm.
What's your recommendation for me? How do I get through it?
Yeah, I think they have great resources here. I mean, you got to go to the training room. And that's the part about being proactive. I think I forgot to mention for international travel, nutrition, hydrating, but stretching. I think it's really underrated. You're going to have a team stretch after you come off the plane. But if you need to do something extra, if your hamstrings get tight normally or your quads, do some more. Okay. And do that. Be proactive, be preventative. Especially when you come to this training block, knowing that there's double days, go in, get some ice, go in the ice bath, go in the hot tub, be proactive. And it's something new to say for these young kids who haven't had these resources and don't really know. But it's a good test because when they go to college, it's going to be on them. If they start sitting out practice, it's on them, so they need to take care of their bodies. And then I did want to add one thing about adaptability. When you play overseas, we talked about coming here and you have 30 guys, maybe 5 different setters, trying to adjust and build that chemistry with everyone. And then you go to play overseas, your teammates are from all around the world, from different countries, from different cultures, who speak different language, who have different styles of volleyball. So how do you play your best? How do you fit into that mold? How do you figure out what your team system will be with all those different volleyball systems that they're used to? And how do you find a way to win with all that and find a way to get on the court even when there's that many different kind of personalities? It's super valuable, and it's definitely a skill. You can't just come in and just think I'm the guy and everyone's got to revolve around me. You have to be able to adapt to everything.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that point, especially as a kind of a conclusion point to this with our athletes. It's adaptability seems to be the line of thought and wisdom with your experience and your journey. And that's such a key piece for athletes to think about is how do I know what my needs are? How do I be proactive about that? How do I keep learning? But above all, how do I be adaptable?
Yeah.
Because that's really what moving to different competition levels, moving to international play is really about, is controlling what you can control and being adaptable with the rest.
Yeah, and even when you're on top of your game, you got to change your game and you got to adjust. And even like we tell a lot of our college players, this is important after volleyball is over. Okay, you're going to have different jobs, you're going to have different bosses, and it's a real insight to see who's learned that skill, especially in the workforce after playing volleyball, and who hasn't, and who's able to adjust to maybe a difficult boss per se, who can handle that and just adapt to that.
I love that.
Yeah.
Anything else we missed out talking about that you'd want to leave with our athletes?
No, but yeah, I'm so jealous of them to be part of this and to have this experience again. I was so lucky to be here and have the experiences I've had and to be on the teams that I had and make the friends that I've had and learn from the coaches that I had. So I'm excited that we get to give these kids an opportunity to do that. And I'm a little jealous of them that they get to go through this. Yeah.
Well, I'm jealous that they get to learn from you as a coach now, full circle.
Yeah, full circle.
Yeah. Well, thanks for joining us, Kupono.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Wisdom.
Thank you. Thank you.